Welcome, travelers. I'm Lewanika of Tabletop Journeys, and this is On the Right Path. Welcome, travelers. Lewanika here, and today we're going to get savage with returning friend of the show, game designer, and all around great storyteller, Peter Saloom of Pear Studios. Peter's back today with something truly special, a brand new Savage Worlds adventure called Echoes of Beacon Island, where 90s summer nostalgia meets strange sci-fi mystery with a healthy dose of that Savage Worlds flair we all love. So grab your dice, cue the retro vibes, and walk with me as we stay right here on the right path. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. It's good to see you again.
I know it is good. We were talking in the pre-show that it's been a bit too long since we've GM'd a couple tables at the same convention. It's been a hot minute since we did that at the
Yeah,
beginning of the
yeah.
summer, I think was the last time. But
Haven't crossed paths in a little bit.
a little bit. But we follow each other, and it's because of that that I wanted to reach out and get you talking about the latest project you got going on. Dish, tell me about it. What you got going on over there at Pear Tree Studios?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I've got a pretty cool project. It's called Beacon Island. It's a plot point campaign as well as what I would call a micro setting for Savage Worlds, and we're going to be launching it October 21st on Kickstarter. So I'm really excited about that. It's the first Kickstarter I've done. I've released products before, but they've always been self-produced, self-funded. So this is my
Yep.
first foray into the complicated world of crowdfunding.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
I'm learning.
Yeah. So I had a boatload of questions really
Sure.
about the new project. And without a whole lot of preamble, I'm just going to jump right into it if you're game.
Please do.
All right. Savage Worlds. You like you mentioned, you've done a bunch of projects. I have a couple of your soft covers right here in my hot little hands.
Nice.
One of my favorite Weird West adventures, and I've done them I think I'm at like my fourth system that oh, that's not it. That's this one. I got them in the wrong hands here. Getting ahead of myself. I've done about four different systems for a Weird West or Deadlands type setting, and absolutely one of my favorite adventures. Like this is just
Oh, thank you.
like remarkable. So good. So good
Thank you.
story. I am still, shame to say, waiting to get somebody to run this for me because I want to play in this. I have not read it. It is still sight unseen for me because how much I want to play that scenario. So I'm very anxious about that.
If nobody runs it for you before February, I'll run it for you at TotalCon.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, because I need that in my life. I need that in my life. So here's the deal: you've done Weird West, you've done space horror, and now we've got Beacon Island, which is a totally different genre. Yeah, give me deets. Like, how do you
Yeah.
move from one genre to the next? What brought you to Beacon Island?
So one of the reasons I became an ACE licensee with Pinnacle, who is the company that publishes Savage Worlds, is because of the flexibility that having a quote unquote generic rule system affords you as a creative. Instead of having to have different licensing arrangements with different publishers and game systems based on the genres that I want to write in, I can use one rule system and flex and be creative as I want to be. I write what I enjoy. I enjoy horror stories. I enjoy sci-fi. I enjoy cowboys and spaghetti westerns. And in Beacon Island, I'm writing somewhat autobiographically because I'm describing growing up as a teen in the 90s in New England, which is something I did. And I'm also paying homage to a bunch of the cultural references that I enjoyed in that time period. Movies like The Goonies and E.T. and Super 8 and Dreamcatcher, things like that are all big inspirations for this project. My 2 second elevator pitch on what Beacon Island is: it's a investigation heavy creative action setting set in New England in the late 90s, and that can be flexed probably by about 7 to 10 years in either direction, and it would be fine. All the PCs are kids. They find themselves embroiled in some kind of conspiracy, extraterrestrial mysteries that they're going to have to find out if they want to be a part of or learn more about or survive. That's where that all comes from. It's just stuff I like and enjoy. And I definitely do a lot of genre hopping. I'm guilty of that. I'm going to continue to do that as
I
I
love it.
as I create more things.
Yeah, it's funny. You made the comment that you write what you love, and the universe is conspiring to reinforce that statement in my life today because
Good.
getting out of work today, as I was getting ready for this broadcast, I was looking at reels or whatever, and the reel I got was about Kristen Wiig and how she learned something that Will Forte taught her when she first started at, and she was commenting that she was wondering how to write for Lorne Michaels. And Will Forte says, stop doing that. Don't ever do that. The moment you start writing for someone,
Yeah.
you lose your creativity and you stop doing the thing.
Yeah.
Write stuff you love. And I'm like, that's brilliant advice. And so, like, I heard that not even 2 hours ago, and to hear it again tonight, that's the universe telling me, pay attention, kid. This is important stuff. I like that.
Yeah. I think you're just so much more willing to go the extra mile and put the extra work in if it's something that's got some personal weight for you. And so the overall quality that you end up with is just that many percentage points better than if you're writing on assignment. I've done both in my career. I take writing jobs, TTRPG jobs, technical writing
Yep.
jobs. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of great people, talented people that do that. But if you can't find something in those design briefs or those contracts for another publisher you're writing for that really sparks interest, you're really going to struggle. You've got to find
Yeah.
something in that is your own and sort of, I just stick onto that idea and try to expand upon it.
Yeah. If there's no passion for it, it does feel flat for you. And if it feels flat for you, it's going to be flat for the audience as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Again, we talked about the different genres and moving from sci-fi, your different elements. You said this is going to involve some weirdness, aliens, mysteries. No spoilers. I'm here for it. My rule of thumb, I'm either going to read the stuff I want to run or I leave it alone until I get the chance to play it.
That's a tough rule to follow.
It's exceptionally hard because there's some really good stuff. And there are times where I fail, like I absolutely fail, and then it's I guess I'm only running it now, and I'm very angry at myself because I'm like, I would have freaking loved that as a
Yeah,
player.
yeah,
That would have been the whole shebang.
yeah.
So it is hard to stick to my guns, but I'm gonna with your work because unless it's the one I want to run, and at some point I'm gonna start running a lot more Savage Worlds, but I'm not
Oh,
quite
good.
there yet. We're blessed. We have patrons who also love Savage World, so we've had a number of different Savage Worlds events on our Patreons. They've run games for other
Oh, that's
Patreons
awesome.
through us as well. In fact, one of them has your adventures as well.
Nice.
So that the plan is we're just gonna get the scheduling down so we can do that. You mentioned that Beacon Island was pulling from your own experiences, semi-autobiographical,
Yep.
and lots of creators do bring parts of themselves into their work. But was there a specific moment in your time in the 90s
Yeah.
that's the moment that I keyed in on when I started writing this story? Like I've been writing this story since July 15th, 1996. I was listening to this LMFO Summer Girls or whatever, and I decided to start writing this. I think that was actually 98, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? What was the moment that sparked this journey?
Yeah, I was thinking about basically just images and times that are always in my head. They're not at the forefront, but they're just part of my DNA. And a big part of that is in 1998, I'm 12 years old. The most exciting things that are happening to me in my life are going to summer camp and sleeping out in the woods with my friends and having my first taste of semi-independence where I'm not right underneath my parents or somebody all the time and starting to figure out who I am as a person, but naively thinking I'm figuring that out. I'm still a long way from doing so. And it's a great time. And it's a time when kids have almost no idea what's going on. And they're just trying to fit in and carve out their own space and be their own person. And so in Beacon Island, I play on the archetypes of kids of that day, but I try to make, at least with the pre-gens that I've provided in here, I try to make them more nuanced than the tropes and stereotypes of the time. One thing we do that's fun on this is we actually supply a suggested Spotify playlist for the game as well. And that was curated by myself with input from some of my other close friends who are the same age as me. Some of the songs are great and very nostalgic, and some are, I think, rather embarrassing. But that's another kind of cool add-on that we threw into this book just because we thought, hey, if somebody can just scan this and start playing this music, it'll really set the tone for, at least for people our age. I have run the game for people who are much younger than me at a recent convention, and I had to do a lot of explaining.
As a person who puts a lot of music into and whenever they're doing a modern game, I get that a lot. And I'm more than a couple ticks on the old time clock, older than you. These 90s, I was in my era in the 90s. There's a lot of shenanigans that went down in the 90s for me.
Oh, I'm
I was
sure.
far older than 12, but there was a lot of
Yeah.
shenanigans. I'm just going to
Yeah.
leave it at that. Yeah, without getting too much into that part of it, but I
Yeah.
love the concept of having a playlist with it and a Spotify list. I think that's so awesome. And I say that as a fan of games that have done that in the past. Specifically, I'm thinking of Against the Dark Master, which
Oh,
we
okay.
talked about on the show years and years ago. They have this big, huge list of sword and sorcery fantasy flicks that they think are great films to give you the tone of their game. So they
Yeah.
did it with their movie inspirations, and then they also have their music inspiration. So you get a lot of bands and specific songs that are along that range. So I love that thought process. I've written whole campaigns based on one song. Like I did a whole campaign that was
That was
entirely
the
based.
inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah, the inspiration for the song was Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. That was the
Oh,
entire
well.
campaign.
Yeah. It's an epic song.
And yeah, it's an epic song, and so much meaning can be derived in my interpretation of the song and what it meant. So successful was that campaign that I just concluded the third campaign within that campaign world a year ago. And I started that in 1990.
Okay. So that had some shelf life.
Yeah, yeah. So it took some time. No, I didn't play consistently through that time. It was like a 4 or 5 year campaign, and then
Mhm.
a few years after that, it was another 3 or 4 year campaign, and then this most recent one was two campaigns running simultaneously that went from 2018 to 2024. So yeah,
It's great when
had some legs.
when it's great when you can continue to reap benefit from something you created or an inspiration point in the past and it doesn't get old. Actually, when I started this project almost 2 years ago, it was just going to be a straight multi-session adventure called Lonesome Power, which is still part of this project. Lonesome Power is the campaign portion of this. But as I was running it at conventions and talking to people and listening to their ideas and things like that, I realized there was much more that could be offered if I just outlined the whole island, all of the locations, included a gazetteer, included other useful information, and said, hey, play Lonesome Power if you want to. It's great. I hope you do. But here's Beacon Island. Do what you will
Run
with
with
it
it.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I love that. All the GMs that I've talked to over the years, when they tell me about how they have modified or changed or edited one of my adventures for their use, those are the stories that seem to excite me the most. Not that I don't appreciate people running it just as it's written. That's what it's there for and what it's made for. But when people say, yeah, I read it, and instead of it being 1 4-hour session, I made it into 3 sessions and I added this and I created this idea, which was in my existing campaign. That's like really exciting to me because it's opened a whole new world. It's taken something I created and made it into something I couldn't have. So
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, absolutely. Without sidetracking us too much, that's exactly what I was thinking about when we did Shadows of the Sacred Hills. The town was there, the different spots. I'm like, I want to get to know these people and get to know these things. This is a campaign hub. It's
Mm.
not just a single adventure. That's what I felt about that. So, yeah, note to you, Pete, at some point, revisit that town. Let's do something else there.
So
I think
I
that'd be
can
so much fun.
I can give you a quick leak. You'll be the first person on the internet or in the world with this information. This week or next, I'm dropping my first, what I'm calling my Blackwood Gulch one shots. I'm going to try and do one a month, one sheets, I'm sorry, for
Yeah.
Savage Worlds. These are all going to be, the hub is going to be Blackwood Gulch, which is the town in Shadows of the Sacred Hills. I'm planning to develop that a bit more because you're not the first person who's told me that, and I've felt that way for a while. There's a lot more that could come out of that, and
Yeah.
I'm going to try to tap into that.
We are preparing to do merch with road bacon and bucket whiskey. Like it is still something that Sergio, Josh, and I joke about all the time. So we love that line.
Yeah, it stands out in my head.
Definitely like some of the best. So
We'll have to. I'll have to work those key terms in somewhere. I
yeah, it's
haven't yet.
important. Yeah, yeah. We gotta find a way. Yeah, so look, Savage Worlds in general, fast paced, easy rules to get as far as a concept goes. It's one of those mechanics that I remember when we played with you, which was not the first time I had played Savage Worlds, but I had
Mhm.
not played a lot before that.
Yep.
And I think if I remember correctly, very early on in our session, like we had to ask a couple times, but after a while, like there was no asking. Like we just knew what to roll, we knew how to roll. Like things went markedly faster very quickly. And that has been my experience with other new players when I sit down with them and they're Savage and we're playing Savage Worlds that other folks, even on their first time, one, maybe two, at most three times if it's a weirder, different situation, are they asking about the mechanics, and before long it's just there. It's one of those that's pretty intuitive. But what are some of the mechanics that you go to in the adventures you write in Savage Worlds? If there was one specific mechanic that you really like to hone in on and feature
Mm.
in your adventures or in the encounters that you create, what would that one thing be? And give us a quick kind of treatment on how that works.
Yeah, it's a good question because Savage Worlds gives you a lot of mechanics, but does not require you to use all of them to be able to play the game. It's more of a toolkit, less of a actual skeleton of the game. If I had to pick one, I'd pick a mechanic called dramatic tasks, which if your listeners have access to a Savage Worlds core rulebook, check it out. It's fantastic. Basically, the premise of it is I set up as the game master some kind of contentious or tension filled scenario. And I completely, once I've set up the circumstance, turn it over to my players and I say, you've got X amount of rounds, 3 rounds, 5 rounds, in which you need to accumulate X number of successes. And the more successes I list there, obviously, the harder it is going to be to attain. At that point, we just go through our rounds with normal initiative rules, and our players get creative with their skills. They might be trying to disarm a bomb that is in this location they're at. And one of them is going to use electronics to try to diagnose the timer on the bomb. Another person is going to do something completely different with their battle skill. They're going to try to secure the area in case things go wrong. You're open to interpretation. It drives a lot of creativity with players, and it also brings people whose character may not have the perfect skill set for the exact encounter that they're in. It gives them the ability to be creative and shine anyway. Fighters always shine in combat. In Savage Worlds, people who are relatively unskilled in combat can shine as well because of these types of mechanics. I'd say that's probably my favorite one. There's a lot of great mechanics in the game, but if I had to pick one, And one that shows up in all my work, it would be dramatic tasks.
I love that. Obviously, it was a major factor. It was the penultimate scene in the adventure we played.
Yeah.
And it is one of my favorite mechanics in gaming. For those listening who are not familiar with Savage Worlds and are looking for an analog to it, it's similar to the skill challenge that you find in D&D. It is
Oh,
similar
okay.
to the extended task that you'll find in Modiphius's 2D20 system. I would say it's closer to the 2D20 system as far as the way it works, in that you have X amount of attempts before you have to get to X amount of successes.
Okay.
And as far as the openness of the way your skills can be used, just as open as those other games. So that's the concept of that. And I've always found that to be great because of exactly what you said, just the ability to be unique. When you mentioned the bomb, I'm like, my character may not have any of those things, but I've got a cell phone with me. Maybe I'm wikiing bomb schematics and
Yeah.
I can show it to the person who is doing it. And that's the success because I got good bomb schematics. That success aids the team effort.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
are the kinds of things you can do. It is actually very hard to do really good skill challenges in D&D. I think they can be done. I wouldn't say hard, but it is more of a heavy lift for your GM in D&D because you have a very short level of skills and it is very locked down. So getting open with it is harder, and player base in D&D is not always ready for that, depending on the table you're running or you're at. If you're at a table with veteran role players, it's a lot easier. If you're at a
Okay.
table with relatively new people, it's a lot harder. Whereas with Savage World, veteran or newbie doesn't matter because the actual skills that are there are wider in general, and the interpretation and the use of them is wider. So I love the way that works, but as well.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad
So
you.
yeah, so I've got a couple quick questions to run
Okay.
through because as we're winding down to the end of our time here tonight, one of those is the tabletop time machine you mentioned, and which is funny because I was figuring what question I was going to ask you before we got together, and this was a question I had before you even mentioned the Spotify list. So again, the
Okay.
universe reinforcing things. So my question is, in the tabletop time machine, if you could drop one classic '90s movie or one TV character into Beacon Island for a cameo, who are
Oh,
they and how long would they survive?
okay. As a NPC, or is this a member of the party?
You pick. You tell
Okay.
me.
As an NPC, I would pick, I don't remember his name, but he was the boat captain, the salty fisherman from the movie Jaws. And I
Okay.
would I would drop him in as an NPC because he'd fit perfectly in that setting. For a player character, I would pick,
Win.
I would pick, I don't know if you'll know this reference or not, but there was a TV show on Nickelodeon called Salute Your Shorts when I was about 10 or 13 years old or something like that. And there was the annoying, rude character's name was Bobby Budnick. And he was this like ginger headed troublemaker with a lot of freckles. And he had this typical 90s grunge outfit on all the time. And he always had nothing nice to say. And I would pick him to be one of the members of the group of kids.
All right. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
You put me
The
you
cat.
put me on the
Yeah, I
spot,
put you on the
but
spot with that. Yeah, and I'm the guy who usually says we don't do gotcha journalism, but I, with the rocket round, I was going for the gotcha. And then back to the soundtrack that you were talking about.
yeah.
If Echoes of Beacon Island has a soundtrack, and it sounds like it does, what's what's the one song that you think must or should be played when you're playing through the adventure you put together?
Oh
Pick the one.
gosh.
What's it doesn't have to be the theme song of the thing, but
Yeah.
maybe it's the song that's playing as you get to the climax, or maybe it's the background music that's always on.
I
What are you
think
coming with?
I think probably I'm going to talk about the climax, and it's probably going to be Metallica, would be my guess, just because that's going to build the tension. If it's just regular bopping around town in between beat points, it's going to be something way more relaxed. Oh God, these are all going to make me seem like such a loser, but like the Gin Blossoms or
Yeah.
Sublime or something like that, more casual, laid back music. But I actually
Having
just
seen
pulled.
both of them bands in concert back in their prime, you're not going to get any shade from me.
But yeah, but then moving towards the tension stuff, it would be like either Metallica or grunge stuff like Soundgarden, things like that. Yeah.
Super unknown something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Black
Excellent.
Hole Sun would be maybe a little on the
Yeah, that
nose for this one.
yeah, a little bit. A little bit. All right, last one is pretty much what's the next genre you're gonna hit with Savage World?
I'm gonna expand on the Blackwood Gulch stuff, so that's Weird West stuff. But I'm gonna go back for a larger project. I think I'm gonna go back to sci-fi. I've had this idea for a little while that I've been working on, and I've just started outlining it. My own twist on a sci-fi setting. I've looked at a lot of sci-fi lately, and there is a gap in sci-fi settings, even though there's a lot of them, and at least with Savage Worlds anyway, there's sort of a gap in the offering. So without giving too much away, I'll say I'm going back to sci-fi, but it's going to be a darker version of the sci-fi that you're typically seeing in setting books available for Savage Worlds right
Nice. I will leave that at that. Pete Saloom, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me on Here We Get on the Right Path. So much fun. This was just a blast. I love chatting with you. As we say all the time, we love talking with creators doing awesome things because it enlightens us, it enlightens our games, and it's fun for everybody. Savage World's definitely the system to play if you haven't. Find a table, visit us at any number of regional New England cons. Come talk to us at the Tabletop Journeys podcast. We will be running more and more Savage Worlds as time goes. I can't wait for those one sheets to come out. That's going
now.
to be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, keep your eyes open. And October 21st, Beacon Island on Kickstarter. Follow it. If you're into that kind of
links in the
stuff,
doobly doo.
back it, do the things, click the buttons.
Yep. All the likes, all the subscribes.
Thanks so much. I appreciate this.
All right, it's been a lot of fun. Can't wait. You know I'm a first day backer once we hit it, so we're all in. All
Let's do
right,
it.
thank you everyone for joining us. Come see us, come see Pete, and have a wonderful evening.
See ya.